I'm going to do my best to just give you a recap throughout tonight's message of what we spoke about last week. So if you got some notes, let me challenge you, let me affirm you. You're going to want to take notes tonight, because tonight is going to be very good, extremely good. So I'll start off by saying God is love, but love is not God. Everyone has their own theory. Say with me, theory. This is our series called Love Theory. Everyone has their own theory of what love is. Not everything people call love is God. Everything God does originates out of Him. In other words, everything God does originates out of love. So God is love, but love is not God. Everyone has their own theory of what love is. Not everything people call love is God. Can you say that with me? Not everything people call love is God. Fornication is not love. I said fornication is not love. Having sex in the back seat of a car is not love. That's not God. Can I get an amen? But everything that God does and everything that originates from God is love, is pure, is whole. What would someone do for love is the question. What would someone do for love? For love, people do all kinds of crazy stuff. For love, people sell their bodies. For love, people compromise their truth. For love, people do all sorts of stuff. What would someone do for love? I want you to write that down. What would I do for love? Or what would someone do for love? In the do is rooted in the cause. So whatever you would do for love is because you want a certain thing. So what would someone do for love? The do is rooted in the cause, or the do is rooted in the reason. In other words, for love, someone will do this. What would you do for love? Many people will do X or Y for love. In other words, if there's something that you're doing for love, it's because there's a cause and there's a reason. But the love of God is unconditional, without reason. So if you want the love of God, you don't have to do anything. People spend their whole lives looking for love. People spend their whole lives looking for what only the love of God can do. You need to write this down. People spend their whole lives looking for what only the love of God can do. People will look in relationships, people will look in people will look in money, people will look in a career, people will look in travel, people will look in social media, people will look for in popularity. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go down to here, because I don't know if God is just speaking, if He's moving, you know, but for love, people will do all kinds of stuff. People will do all kinds of things. Thank you, guys. So people spend their whole lives looking for what only the love of God can do. Love that doesn't satisfy or love that produces emptiness is not the love of God. People look for love in popularity. People look for love and money. They do all kinds of things thinking that they're doing it for all kinds of reasons, but truly the reason why people do things is for love, is for acceptance, is to be somebody. But the love of God already made you somebody. When God made us, it was an expression of His love. But since the fall of man has not known the love of God. Because we've not known the love of God, that's the reason why we do, to feel loved. Let me repeat that one more time. When God made us, it was an expression of His love. I want you to say with me, when God made me, it was an expression of His love. God's expression of His love for you is what formed you in your mother's womb. God's expression of His love for you is what caused you to be made here on earth. God's expression of His love for you is what caused you and I to be created. Can I get an amen? Say with me, it was God's expression for me that made me. But since the fall of man, since Adam fell into sin, since Adam ate of the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, man has lost the love of God. Man has not known the love of God since the fall of man, since the fall of Adam. Are you with me? So since Adam fell, since Adam ate the forbidden fruit, ever since Adam fell into sin, ever since the fall of man, man has not known the love of God. So because we've not known the love of God, that's the reason why we do. Ever since the fall of man, people have been doing all kinds of stuff to feel that love. People put on makeup to feel love. People buy all kinds of stuff to feel love. People compromise all kinds of truth for love. In other words, there's a love that you and I, there's a love that humanity has not known, has lost ever since the fall of man. And ever since the fall of man, we've been doing all kinds of ridiculous things to try to know and receive that love. But God brought you here tonight to tell you young people, you can't find that love elsewhere. You cannot find that love outside of Him. You cannot find that love in a boyfriend and a girlfriend. It doesn't matter how many love letters they write to you. It doesn't matter how many coloring book pages they color to you. It doesn't matter how many flowers they give you. You cannot find that love that man has not known since the fall of man anywhere else outside of God. If you want to know love, if you want to know real love, if you want to know true love, man, let me tell you, if you want to be satisfied, if you don't want to walk with an emptiness no more, if you don't want a void in your heart, if you want to stop fooling yourself thinking that that other girl, that next guy is going to do what the one before that didn't do, let me tell you the answer, what you've been looking for is the love of God. If you want something to do something more for you than what popularity, followers, money, career, travel, having an IG with thousands and thousands and thousands of followers can do for you, it is the love of God. The love of God will make you feel a way that sex can never make you feel. The love of God will make you feel a way that your gifts that God gave you can't even make you feel. It will make you feel better than $100,000, $200,000 career payment every year. It will cause you to feel a certain way that a best friend, a booty partner will never be able to make you feel. It will make you feel like whiskey, like Bacardi, like a club, like dancing could never make you feel. I know that popularity feels good, but let me tell you, the love of God feels better. I know that smoking weed and getting high, it feels good, but there's a love of God that's uncomparable. Weed cannot compare to it. Money cannot compare to it. Guess what? Not even church can compare to it. A house of peace, a mentor, nothing can compare to the love of God. If you try to seek the love of God in people or places or things, let me tell you, those things, people, and places will fall short. Oh, I'm going to get real with you tonight. I'm going to get all up in your face tonight. The reason why you post the pictures you do on Instagram is because you want to feel something that only the love of God can truly satisfy you with. The reason why you dress a certain way, the reason why you talk a certain way, the reason why you got tatted up, the reason why you do what you do is to try to feel some type of acceptance, some type of identity, some type of security. And the only thing that can give you true identity and true security is the love of God. Trying to get rid of this cold. Pray for me. We do not know our true expression. Ladies, Sephora ain't gonna give you a true expression. MAC makeup ain't gonna give you a true expression. That guy ain't gonna give you that true expression. Instagram ain't gonna give you a true expression. Hollywood is not gonna give you a true expression. Selling your soul to the devil is not gonna give you a true expression. I've been to every single club you can think of in Miami. I danced, I smoked out, I got drunk, I had sex. I did everything possible. I did everything that you and I have been taught. If you wanna feel more more like a man, if you want to feel more like a woman, well, do this. If you want to crack a smile, if you want to forget about your pain, if you want to ease your pain, forget about your past, well, do this. I've done it all, and only the love of God satisfies. Only the love of God really comes through. Only the love of God. Everything else is a lie. I know we're talking about sin, but let's start talking about the good things. Going to school and getting a degree, it won't satisfy the way the love of God can. You can marry the perfect man, the perfect woman, a preacher, anointed. You can just go down the list and take up all of our dreams and it comes true for you. That still won't satisfy you unless you have the love of God. That's why some of us have lost passion to do house of peace. We've lost passion to disciple people. We've lost passion to come to church. We've lost passion to pray. We've lost passion for holiness. We've lost passion to evangelize. We've lost passion to prophesy because we're trying to do even the good things outside of the love of God. It's only the love of God that can satisfy. Because then you just become religious. And what you were trying to find out in sex, what you were trying to find out in the world, now you're trying to find it in the church. Only the love of God can satisfy. What got me to leave the world, young people, is the love of God. All right. When someone does not know the love of God, they are living with an emptiness or a void. Sound familiar? Seeking something they don't understand. It's like the prodigal son. While I was studying for tonight, God showed me that the prodigal son is as equivalent as the Garden of Eden. The son left the presence of God, looking for love elsewhere, looking for love in other things, in money, in people. And he found himself sleeping with pigs. He left his father's house to eat the forbidden fruit. That which has been forbidden to you and I will never be able to fill us. It's the biggest deception of the enemy. What has been forbidden, have you ever tried to do something just because somebody told you you can't do it? It won't satisfy. People don't understand what it is that they're looking for. People don't understand what it is that they need. People don't understand what it is that they're missing. And they spend their whole life in search. They travel. They do all kinds of stuff to try to figure it out. It's the love of God. Wow, the church and Christians have lost the love of God. Revelations 2:4, if you look at the New Living Translation, it says, "This I have against you, that you've lost your first love for me and for one another." Young people, look at me when I speak to you. We've lost the love of God as the church. What are we known for nowadays? What is the church? What are Christians known for? And I'm going to start preaching a fit right now. We are known for, what are we known for? What is the church? What are Christians known for? What we're not known for is for our outrageous love. What we're not known for is for our outrageous love. What we are known for is for intolerance. The church and Christians are known for intolerance. I'll give you an example. If you don't change, I'm not going to deal with you. Mentors, I'm preaching to you right now. Have you ever had a disciple that didn't change? Are you still going to have and put on the love of God? Or are you going to stop loving because you don't see changes? What are we known for? We're known for our intolerance. If you don't change, then I'm not going to deal with you. If you don't change, you're not going to be my headache. Where's the love of God? Number two, what is the church known for? Being judgmental. We judging the world, we judging the earth, we judging our family, we judging our friends, we're judging the people we used to kick it with, we judging the places that we used to go to. Do you not remember that you too used to go to those places, that you too used to do the same things, that you too used to deal with the same stuff? Do you not remember? Oh man, can I preach to somebody? Can anybody thank God that God wasn't intolerant with you? Is anybody here tonight? Do you remember when you weren't changing? How are you going to give something to someone that wasn't even given to you? Where's the love of God? So nowadays the church is not known for its outrageous love. It's known for being intolerant, for being judgmental. Oh, Matthew 7:1. We're going to read Matthew 7:1 through 5. Put your seatbelt on right now. You know what else the church is known for? Hypocrisy. Judge not, that you may not be judged. Verse 2, for with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. In other words, the measure that you judge will be the same measure used to you for you to be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured back onto you. Verse 3, and why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye? Say with me, speck. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank that's in your own eye? In other words, another translation says, why are you looking at the dust in somebody's eye when you got a 2x4 in your own eye? Verse 4, or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Verse 5, hypocrite. What is Jesus saying? What is Jesus saying? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Listen, if a fraction of the church, if a fraction of the Western church took this teaching from Jesus seriously, in other words, there's a revelation behind what we read. We're not against mentorship. We're not against correction. We're not against discipline. We are for those things. We believe in those things. We teach. We train. We believe in those things. But there's a hidden truth. There's a revelation in that. And what is that? If the fraction of the Western church took this teaching seriously from Jesus to consider their own sin to be a 2x4 sticking out of their eye, and anyone else's sin, whatever it may be, just a mere dust particle, then instead of being known as hypocrites, and instead of being known as judgmental and intolerant, then we will be known as humble. We will be known as serving. We will be known as loving people. Can I remind you tonight that you yourself have some caca that God had to clean your diaper from? Can I remind you tonight that you still have a 2x4? Why are you being so judgmental? When you love people, it's easy to extend mercy. It's easy to not judge, because the sin that you deal with, you look at it at a greater scale than the sin that your brother deals with. That's the revelation behind that verse. If you were to look at the sin that people sin with lower than your own sin, then let me tell you, you're going to be humble enough to go the extra mile with that person, even if it's not as serious as the other person's sin. Maybe you don't deal with the same sin of the world, but you still got sin. And last time I checked, the Bible teaches that sin is sin. And when we look at people with the heart of God, with the love of God, we can see what God did in our lives, that it can become possible in their life, and therefore love will break intolerance, love will break judgmentalism, and love will break hypocrisy.